And then hidden inside to record all the action, we have 4 phones, plus a canister of fart spray in an effort to encourage the thief to get rid of the box so we can go and retrieve it. And that went pretty well, so we spent the entire next year working on version 2.0, where we doubled the amount of fart spray and drastically improved the formula, which ended up nearly killing Macaulay Culkin. We also switched to biodegradable glitter and added a meaningless countdown, and some fake and that went pretty well, so we spent the entire next year working on version 2.0, where we doubled the amount of fart spray and drastically improved the formula, which ended up nearly killing Macaulay Culkin. We also switched to biodegradable glitter and added a meaningless countdown, and some fake police chatter, just to make things more exciting. Then for year 3, we doubled the fart spray canisters once again to a total of 4, and added a handle the thief would be tempted to grab, which we covered in that super sticky mousetrap goop. But for the previous 2 years, the package thieves would often shove the lid back on right away, which covered up the cameras. So we added these posts near the top of the box that would passively pop out, which made it impossible to put the lid back on once you removed it. We also added flashing police lights and made a doormat that had these conductive charging contacts so we could keep the whole box fully charged until the moment it was stolen. Then for Glitter Bomb 4.0, as soon as you touch the lid, it would get shot straight up into the air, compliments of these 2 boxing gloves attached to pneumatic pistons. We also added an actual car horn to make things more exciting, and redesigned the cup so that by using centrifugal force generated from spinning, you could possibly get 3 chances to shoot some glitter instead of losing it all in one single shot. Then for the porch, we built a fake planter box that would slide over and hide the package at night, so the homeowners wouldn't have to worry about bringing it in, and we were guaranteed to get it stolen in the day when the light was better. And all of that brings us to year 5, Glitter Bomb 5.0. I knew this was going to be the last year, so I decided to go for broke and attempt the biggest redesign to date. And this is a terrible idea, by the way. In engineering, if something is working well enough, conventional wisdom states you should basically change nothing, but pretend like you changed a lot. So for starters, last year we had 4 vials of fart spray for a total of 20 milliliters, and for this year, because we're not messing around, we have a 1-liter tank. And for those of you keeping track at home, that's 50 times more fart spray. To pull this off, instead of using a rotating cam system like before, now we have a peristaltic pump that continually forces the fart spray through 2 nozzles and basically never lets up. And because I can't exactly explain how much worse something smells over video, this is a sensor that measures the number of particulates in the air. And the more particulates, the more intense the smell. And if we place last year's glitter bomb in the chamber, it measures 250 particulates of nastiness per liter, whereas this year's tops out at 750, which means it's not only gonna last a lot longer, but it's gonna be 3 times more intense. Now to house that massive reservoir of fart spray, we had to expand the footprint for the box, which means we had room underneath it to house the brains of the system on an upgraded custom printed circuit board that communicates directly with all 4 phones. And quick shout out to my friends at T-Mobile, because last year we found they had the best coverage. We were replacing the boxes, so this year they hooked us up and let us put them all on the network. Then for the glitter delivery mechanism, the idea was to hack some of these mini drones and rewrite their code to make them autonomous, where they could fly themselves without needing to be in communication with the computer. So the idea for this year is the thief would bring the big package back to their house, then remove the lid, which would lower these 2 doors, allowing the drones to wake up and take off. And so instead of a single concentrated area of glitter from a spinning cup like before, the drones would just meander all around the house, leaving millions of tiny shimmering reminders not to take stuff that isn't yours. And as part of our code rewrite, if the proximity sensors register someone approaching, they'll just casually fly themselves to a different part of the room. And all of that perfectly sets up the checkmate, because while they're fully distracted dealing with the drones, the box starts to drastically change the room's air quality at a rate of 1 liter per minute. This design was ambitious and arguably had a much higher risk of failure in the field, but then we took it one step further by designing a sister box that could be used for a car break-in. Since I live near San Francisco, which is the smashing grab capital of the world, 2 years ago we went right into the lion's den, which placed the box in a somewhat alarming predicament. And while tempting, it seemed irresponsible to have a couple drones flying around inside a moving vehicle, so this box can be triggered remotely via text message and can activate the fart spray without needing to be open. And then right before the nozzles kick in, this 360 cam pops up to cover all the action. And if at any point the camera senses it's being tampered with, just like one of those fancy hood ornaments, it will retract itself back inside the box. So after about 10 months of designing, building, and testing, we set them out on a bunch of porches and in a bunch of cars, and we waited. And we didn't have to wait long.
Ran in the box, bro.
You should be asleep, babe. Why are you still awake?
And I really appreciate the hustle from these guys, especially because when all is said and done, they just decide to make this their neighbor's phone. When we retrieved this next box, as you can see, it was completely destroyed and the phones were gone. But thanks to those blazing T-Mobile network speeds, we were able to recover the following footage from the cloud.
For our neighbor here, put it down a little.
Yeah. No way.
What? The new one, huh?
Yeah, it's the
Can we just leave it in the park for now?
Yeah, we'll leave it in the park.
We're not trying to...
Bring it in.
So they eventually took this home and were apparently pretty upfront with their kids about where they got it from.
Oh my god, it's Mom, I think it is a bomb.
And in addition to porches, just like in years past, we placed some boxes by group mailboxes, so that way we could track the number of Good Samaritans that will call the number on the box from year to year.
You YouTuber?
Activation complete. Recovery sequence initiated.
Switching gears for a minute, for the past 2 years, I've experimented with placing a glitter bomb in a parked car up in San Francisco because it's considered the car breaking capital of the world. And things are so bad now, it's not even just the parked cars that are getting targeted. They average 73 car break-ins per day, and at this point, people have resorted to just leaving their doors wide open, hoping the thieves can verify for themselves that there's no valuables inside, so they won't smash the glass just to check. And for the past 2 years, while we didn't get the glitter bomb stolen, all we could really do was just play an alarm sound so they throw them out. because they never actually opened them in the car. And after doing some research, it turns out there's a reason for that. It's actually a fairly organized system called a fencing operation, where the cars will go out in groups, and then immediately afterwards they'll bring it to a middleman who will pay cash in exchange for the most valuable things they steal, like laptops. But the gut punch is that important documents like a passport or pictures or plane tickets don't really hold value for the thieves, so they just get thrown in the trash. And now that we knew they didn't plan on opening the box in the car, we designed the nozzles to poke through the lid so that even if they just threw it in the back seat, once the proximity sensor on the bottom registered it was stolen and the box texted us, we could track them using the embedded GPS, and a simple text message back would raise the camera and activate the fart spray for 2 minutes straight. So we headed up to the city and placed our modified car box nice and visible in the car and commenced our stakeout. And you can see this first black car rolls up, and this guy gets out and spots it but doesn't take it. And then a little while later, this beige car rolls up and he sees it too, and the same thing happens. Then not too long after that, this white car rolls up, and once again they clearly see the box, but they just leave it sitting right there without even breaking a window. And after observing all this, our best guess was that it was the size of the box that was spooking them, so we removed the heart and all the other critical components from the large box and placed them into a smaller box. And while it occupied a smaller footprint, it maintained all the same functionality of the bigger box while still looking like an enticing item to steal. So the next day, we put it back out on the street, but this time someone came by and actually smashed the window. Only we didn't see them leave with the box. And our working assumption was that he just wasn't able to open the door to take it. But when we checked the footage, it told a different story. Not only did he once again intentionally not steal a smaller box, but the real reason for breaking the small window was to pull the back seat down and check the trunk. Which means if we take nothing else away from this video, you should know putting your luggage in the trunk is not a solution to keep it from getting stolen. The reason they break these little windows so often but it seems like nothing is missing is because they're pulling down the seat to quickly check what's hidden from view in the trunk. At this point, it was pretty disappointing, but we realized they'd adapted. Word must have gotten out from stealing our glitter bombs in previous years that a juicy looking box like this sitting out in plain sight is nothing but trouble. And as an engineer, I never claimed to have all the answers, but I know the process to get all the answers. And that's trying and failing and tweaking over and over again. So while we did have a couple useless car boxes and a busted window, we also knew their MO, which meant we now had a plan. And that plan was to shrink the box down even further to fit it in the backpack. That did mean we had to make some compromises like losing the camera and reducing the fart spray reservoir down to this improvised pouch, but to make sure that it was still adequate, we sprayed it on this chair, and not only did it still last for 2 minutes, but we left that chair outside to air out and confirmed a few days later it was still in real bad shape. So with renewed hopes, we once again hit the streets, this time with 2 backpacks in 2 separate cars parked in 2 different spots, and as fate would have it, they both got hits within about 5 minutes of each other. Once again, you can